everybody and welcome to this February bullet journal setup video. Before we start setting up this new month, I'm showing you how my wintry January pages eventually turned out. I feel like January went by so fast, but I was really happy with many of the pages. They especially helped me to clarify my goals for the beginning of this year. But now let's start setting up this February theme, and as you can see from the quick previews, I tried out a completely new style this time. I've been doing a lot of watercoloring and painting the past months, but this time I wanted to focus more on just drawing. I've been loving this account on Instagram that I can't pronounce, but I will write it to the screen, and her journal definitely inspired me to try out this more sketchy, drawing heavy style that incorporated some gold paint. So as you can see, I started from the cover page for the new month as usual. I first wrote February and then I drew this, maybe a mandala style decoration with some swirls and small details. I wasn't really happy how this first one turned out, to be honest, but I got plenty of practice while setting up the rest of this month. I added some gold to this later, which made it look at least slightly better in my eyes. So after the title and calendar was done, I started to work with the page next to it, where I wanted to draw this black hummingbird with some gold details again. I've drawn a hummingbird in the past, but this time I did it using a very different style, and it was really interesting to see how much easier it was to draw this time. I highly recommend you to sometimes go back and try to recreate something you've already drawn, because that's a great way to notice your own progress. But anyway, back to the drawing. So I started this bird from a basic sketch, and I actually spent quite a lot of time with this. Since I only used my black Micron for the outlines of this drawing, I wanted this sketch to give me a good place to start with the unerasable line work. I think I've said it in the past as well, but I really enjoy drawing birds like these. They naturally look beautiful and there's no specific size or shape you have to follow. If it has wings, it will pretty much look like a bird, so if you're not super confident with your drawings, I think this is a great animal to start with. I added some swirls around the tail to make this look a little bit prettier, and then I finally decided to add some gold paint to this. I used this gold paint for the first time and it worked super well. I'll leave all the details of the tools I'm using in the description below, so you can find all the brands and everything from there. The gold effect is kind of hard to see straight from top, but it looks super pretty when you're turning the pages or when the light hits the paint. After the bird itself was done, I decorated this page a bit more with these corner swirl thingies, and after that the cover page for our February layout is finally done. Then before we jump to the monthly calendar page, I quickly want to tell you a little bit about this month's sponsor, who is Wix. I'm so happy to work with them, and they gave me an amazing opportunity to build my own website. So Wix is a website building platform that allows you to build highly customizable professional websites. They also provide marketing tools, coding platform, and advanced drag and drop tools for you to create a beautiful website super efficiently. You can create a site for a blog, an art portfolio, online store, or for almost any other purpose. I created a personal website that I'm also gonna use as my portfolio and a blog in the future. Creating a website helped me to kind of combine everything I'm doing in one place that I'm completely in charge of. And to make this site a little bit more appealing to you, I have this section for some free bullet journal printables that you can download and use in your own journals. I really enjoyed designing my website in the Wix editor. For me, having a total creative freedom was the most important thing, and I could definitely create exactly the type of website I wanted. So if you've been thinking about creating a website, you can go to wix.com/go/journalaway to create your own professional website. Again, thank you so much for Wix for supporting my channel. And now let's get back to business and start setting the monthly page. I happen to have quite a lot going on this February, so I decided to set up a big calendar that I can use to track all the things I need to remember. I started again with a big title at the top. This month I tried to go with this super minimal cursive font, and I tried to purposefully leave a bit more room between the letters than I usually do. Then I started to draw this big simple calendar where one day has 4 times 5 dot rows. So after I came up with the idea for the hummingbird in the front page, I decided to turn this month a little bit more towards a bird theme. I thought drawing birds with my black micron would be a fun challenge. So on this page I had this idea to create this big peacock that would have those same gold details in its tail. To save all of us some time, I pencil sketched this before filming, but I'm trying to go through the drawing process a little bit slower here. So right from the start, this turned out to be one of the most challenging drawings for me in my bullet journal. This style of drawing is pretty new for me, and not using colors felt a little bit weird. So I tried to focus a lot on the textures and creating those with different pen strokes. Also, the darker areas just required a lot of work, so I went over and recreated a crazy amount of these swirls and scribbles where I wanted to create a darker appearance. I think I went a bit too far on the head, so I actually kind of erased some of the black with my white marker and later with the gold paint. After the head part, I took a lot of time to create the tail. I kind of wanted it to expand to this whole page, so I drew some of these feathers almost underneath the calendar, and I think it created this fun kind of floating appearance to the calendar as well. In general, this drawing took a crazy amount of time. I know it looks super quick and easy in the video, but it was not that in real life. But again, in the end, I played around with that same gold paint, and I truly think it transformed this whole page. I'm sometimes tempted to do a totally black and white theme, but I guess this time showed me that I really do like at least a little bit color here and there. In the end, this was probably not my favorite spread of this month, but anyways, let's move on. Next, I wanted to set up a habit page. I've had my habits in my weekly spreads for the longest time, but this month I tried out something completely different for the weeklies, so I didn't have a place for these there. I started this page by creating another one of these mandala wheel things. It helps a lot to sketch these with a pencil beforehand so that you know exactly where to draw the lines to make the end result as symmetrical as possible. Of course, if you really want to perfect your shapes, you could use a ruler with some circle shapes to make everything super even, but it would probably take a lot of time and would have surely been too frustrating for me, so I just stuck with this free drawing method. Also, the more you keep adding these small details in your wheel, some small mistakes start to look way less visible in the final creation. After this was done, I wanted to add a border to this page that in the end framed it really nicely. Then I drew these small symbols that I like to use to showcase the habits I want to track. I didn't really know what kind of boxes or numbers I wanted to do here, so I just ended up drawing these small circles that will indicate the days of the month, and whenever I do a certain habit, I can color these circles black from that day. I think the frame really suited this month's theme, and I like the little bit different look it gave to this page. Then moving on to the next one, so here I wanted to create this more of a filler page. I found this beautiful quote by Ariana that I think really went well with the birds in this theme. And this quote says, "There are dreams worth following and dreams worth chasing, and then there are dreams worth growing wings and flying for." How beautiful and empowering is that? I instantly fell in love with this quote when I saw it. So to frame these beautiful words accordingly, I chose this diamond-shaped pattern that I decorated the rest of the page with. Not gonna lie, this took so much time again, but I think the end result looked really nice, so it was worth it. I'm again trying to show you how I created these shapes up close, but you can truly play around with different shapes and patterns and find something that pleases your eye and is easy enough to recreate multiple times. And if you want some further design inspiration, Pinterest and the internet is full of patterns like these, so you can easily find something to use as your guide. I speeded this through quite fast because all the shapes were basically the same, and eventually this whole spread was done, and I have to say I really like these two pages together. But now we have probably the most exciting spread coming, so let's move on. I've thought about the perfect weekly system for the past months that wouldn't require so much setting up for me every week, and then I got this idea to create these borders for my weeklies from one page and then just cut this small door thing in the center for the different weeks. I totally thought I came up with this idea myself, but then I started to see everyone and their moms coming up with similar weekly systems. But anyway, it's a fun idea and I'm super excited to see how it will work. So I continued the black and gold mandala theme on this page, but this time I drew this much larger one that was really fun to come up with. It was sometimes difficult to decide where to place the thicker black lines or black areas in these so that the final appearance would look somewhat balanced. But it is also easy to change something or add something more while you're drawing these if you feel like the design needs something different from your initial sketch. But after this was done, I moved on to the fun part where I cut these next pages in half, so now I'll have room for all the weekdays in the middle and I can set up each week on its own page. One small problem I had was the binding of the notebook because it made it a little bit difficult to open up all these narrow pages in the same way and to keep them open, but I'm pretty sure it won't be a big problem in the end. To know what week I'm working on, I decided to add these small week numbers in the bottom part of these pages. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for the weekly pages of this month. I really like this idea and I'm quite excited that I have so little stuff to set up every week now. But now it's time to finally flip our way to the last spread of this month, and this will be for the monthly review. Again, I started by creating this title at the top with this small swirl decoration to keep the theme cohesive. Then I decided to add another one of these frames to these 2 pages. I added these small gold circles in the corners, but I didn't complete this frame from the right side yet because I wanted to leave room for this final bird drawing. So the last drawing we are firing through is this flying barn owl. Again, I started to sketch this outside the camera, but I did touch up my initial sketch a little bit and made it more precise before the actual inking process. Barn owls are so cute and beautiful, so I really try my best to make justice to them with this drawing. So after I was happy with this sketch, I started to draw this with my black pen, and I started from the head. One of the features I think separates these owls from others is this really well-defined frame around their face. Also, the eyes are very round and kind of deep in the owl's face. The position I chose here was when the owl is in the middle of landing, so you can also see the claws very well, and the wings look really big and stretched out. I pretty much followed the same technique of drawing random scribbles and circles. In the wings, I paid a little bit more attention to the individual feathers and how the wings were shaped. I feel like the most difficult thing again was to create the shadows since I didn't use any colors. I just tried to add more strokes around those areas without being too precise with any individual lines. Then of course I added the gold paint, and again I think it took this drawing to another level. I kind of used it to create some color and patterns to the owl's tail and wings, as well as adding some kind of color to the face and body as well. I did go over the gold with some more black lines if I felt like it erased those a little bit too much. In the end, I think this owl might be my favorite drawing this month, and I really hope I can challenge some of you to try to draw something like this as well. I know it looks difficult and complicated, but you never know what you can accomplish without trying. Just for the record, I'm also scared every time when I'm starting to draw something like this. It's not like I'm any more confident. I just basically force myself to at least try. But yeah, after the owl was done, I finished this page with some boxes where I wrote a few questions for myself to help me review this month in the end of it. This is a really good habit that doesn't even take much time, but it really clarifies your mind and helps to kind of keep on track of the bigger picture of your life. After this page was done, it finally finished up this whole February layout. I know this was kind of different from my channel and pretty challenging theme as well, but in the end, I'm really happy I chose to go for it. I also hope you could get some new ideas for pages or decorations from this video and didn't mind the lack of colors this time. To those of you who are here for the first time, I would really appreciate you subscribing to this channel if you want to see videos like these in the future. But then I guess that's it for this time. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I hope you're having an amazing day or night wherever you are, and see you in my next one. Bye bye.